Howdy, everyone. Tad Stevens on the Micro Success Secrets podcast, where we focus on business psychology and marketing and how you can use that in your business daily and long term. Today, I'm talking with Brett Gilliland, who is founder and CEO of Elite Entrepreneurs, a company that specializes in giving 1 million plus business owners the knowledge, process, and tools to grow to 10 million and beyond. Brett is an expert in organization development, leadership strategy, and spent 10 years helping Infusionsoft grow from 7 million in revenue to over 100 million. When he's not busy helping multi-million-dollar businesses, he is a family man who enjoys spending his time with his beautiful wife, Sharon, and their 8 children. Brett, nice to have you on the show, and let me know if I missed anything.
Yeah, thanks, Tad. I'm excited to be here with you and your podcast. Congratulations on what you're doing. I don't know that you missed anything, but I'll just underscore that we specialize in helping 7-figure business owners. There's a different thing. In fact, we won't go into this too far, but on the 1s and 3s of revenue, there's a stage change as businesses grow. And we specialize in those 2 stage changes from 1 to 3 million and 3 to 10 million. Those 2 stage changes where we spend all our time helping those businesses make the transition from entrepreneur to CEO. Super fun.
Yep.
Anyway, that's who we are. That's what we do.
That's a great point. And one of my favorite sayings, I got to throw in my when I come upon one of these, I like to add them. Somebody wrote a book, and I can't remember the gentleman's name who wrote the book. He entitled it, and he said, "What got you here won't get you there."
Yeah, Marshall Goldsmith. That's right.
Yes, Marshall. I do remember that now.
That's one of my favorite quotes because of the same reason. Yeah, what gets you to 1 million does not get you beyond there. And there's an actual shift in the business that needs to take place. And usually it starts with the person in the mirror, right? That leader's got to look at themselves and understand that the skill sets, the knowledge, the mindset, the tools that got them to 1 million is not what's going to get them beyond that. Just like Marshall said. So glad you brought that one up.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get rolling. I like to start with this question, in that if you had a time machine and you can go back in time and you could change one business or life decision, or 2, I mean, if you want to, you can do 2. But if you could change one, first off, would you change it? And if you would change it, what would you change it to?
It's a great question. I wouldn't change it. Actually, I'm a firm believer that we learn by experience. We grow and learn through experience. So I wouldn't change any of those types of decisions that I've made. I guess what I would, the one that I think about is when we decided to spin this business out. I bought this Elite Entrepreneurs business. It was part of Infusionsoft. You mentioned that in my intro. In the bio. It's a software company. We were growing fast. And the decision was, should I buy this business and spin it out? And I would still do it. In fact, I love what I do. I'm glad that I did it. But I probably would have prepped for that differently had I had the experience then that I do now.
And that, I mean, to let you know, that is a relatively common answer with the interviews that I do. Is a lot of people are in the same mindset that I'm in as well. And what you just mentioned is that we are who we are from our experiences. So if we change our experiences, our decisions will be somebody else, and we don't know who that'd be. But there's a few things one, they would have prepared more, like you said. They would have started sooner. But they're still on the path that now they are who they are because of what happened to them in the decisions that they made, or what happened in the decisions they made after that. So totally agree with that. If you could go back in the same time machine and you could look at it a little different, and you could pick out one decision that you made that was just super positive. I mean, it's one of those decisions that you look back and you remember everything before it and everything after it. It's a dividing line for those memories. Do you have one of those that you could share?
You know, I wasn't much into education growing up. I kind of looked at school as a bad thing, and I'm not here to promote, public or college education or anything like that. But I would have become a reader sooner. I would have consumed more knowledge, especially from people who had been there and done that. I'm a big believer in like practical experience. And the decision I made to go to graduate school, which we don't have time to get into history, but I never would have seen myself as going to graduate school. I always knew I would graduate from college. That was kind of in the path. But I kind of went to graduate school on a whim. I just wasn't happy with what I was doing. I thought maybe I'll go back to school. And then I ended up picking a program called organizational behavior, which is the
Mm-hmm.
study of how organizations tick. You know, if you get results you don't want, how do you change the system of an organization to get new results? And I just fell in love with systems thinking and the way, and getting to know the nuance of organization, the way that a doctor or physical therapist learns the human body and all the interconnected parts. And so if you want different results, you got to do something different with the body of the company, the business. And I just fell in love with getting to know what makes a company tick, what brings it alive, how do you make it change. Anyway, I kind of geek out on it now, but I never would have been on this path of my own doing. I feel like I was kind of guided, but made a decision, and I'm glad that I did, to go do that.
Mm-hmm. And that is a big one. Absolutely. So you may have more insight into this than most. Um, and it's with the decisions that you make and what you were just talking about, the organization, the decisions they make and the paths they are on. You probably run into them getting stuck or in a rut. And, they come upon a decision and they either don't address it, put it off, or whatever. But do you have any tips, methods that you help other people or yourself to get through those decisions, to get to the other side, to go around them, through them, over them, whatever,
Yeah,
to get unstuck and keep going?
absolutely. And I mean, to say that I might run into people who get stuck sometimes is an understatement. It happens all the time, Tad. And the reason for that is those natural stages we talked about on the ones
Mm-hmm.
and threes. There's like this unwritten law of business that every time you triple in size, right, from 300,000 to a million, that's a new animal.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
what got you there won't get you to the next place. And so there's some upgrade in people, processes, or systems that has to take place if you want to keep going. And what I find people, they do get stuck in a rut, but the rut situation is more around focusing on the day-to-day operations of the business. They just don't know how to break out of the here and now to work on future enabling work. There's future enabling capability building work that they must do if they want to grow, and they just get stuck in the day-to-day execution, responding to things that are coming at them. So that's when they get stuck in a rut. But the bigger problem I find is them not understanding some of these natural stages of business that they have to figure out if they want to keep going. And that's just a matter of learning from people who know what those stages are and some of the really practical ways you can grow through those challenges, because it is known and it is doable.
Mm-hmm.
Never found a business owner that we couldn't help do it if they wanted to learn about it and go take the steps. So it's just a matter of learning the new stuff that it takes to go do it.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, when you said if they want to learn about it,
If they
that
want
to
to.
me is critical. I mean, I have yet to be able to help somebody who doesn't want help.
Well, it's
Or
uncomfortable, right? We know what to do in today's environment. We created today's environment.
mm-hmm.
The unknown is more. That's where the risk lies, I guess, is in facing something unknown. Um, I I guess to answer your question, the real heart of it better would be if I can help a business owner get much more intentional and more disciplined. I mean, those are kind of the two things that
Mm-hmm.
run. They kind of run. They trip people up. That's the word I'm looking for. So they don't have a clearly defined purpose. They don't have a clearly defined mission, something that would guide their decisions. And so when you're just making decisions based on today's reality, it's kind of like, well, I could do this. Okay, maybe I'll do that. But it's much less anchored in something intentional. When you get super intentional about a specific destination that you're driving to, it's a lot easier to make choices about the paths to take. And that's what I find people, they kind of mess up on not having a clear destination, and then not having, it's not just the discipline, but the structure and the processes in place to help them be disciplined towards pursuing that end.
And I can attest to that myself. I know that if I'm not looking at the outcome or where I want to end up, that I'll want to, oh, I did this yesterday, so I'll do it again today. It doesn't move me an inch.
That's right.
But it takes up the time and it gets me out of the decision for a while.
Well,
so I got to focus.
Good to be running on that hamster wheel. I'm working.
I'm working. Busy is not progress is what I also heard someplace else.
That's right.
Okay. If something happened, say we had a global pandemic, or you moved to another state, another country, something, and you had to start over, new environment, but you know everything that you know now, would you do the same thing you're doing now, or would you do something different?
Yeah, I would do the same thing I'm doing now. And the reason is because I'm so purpose driven. And this is, again, what we teach customers we have the privilege of working with. And it doesn't matter if you have an accounting firm or if you're a physical therapist. We have software companies, construction companies. It doesn't matter. They all run into these same 7-figure growth challenges. Okay. But we start out by saying, you have a what, right? You do something and you do it well, you know your craft, but do you have a powerful why? And for us, our powerful why is to help elite entrepreneurs, those that get to that $1 million mark, to help them grow and build meaningful businesses. We want them to have purpose-filled businesses that they're excited about, that they can grow. And so that just lights me up. I get excited to help people break through some of those ceilings that happen. And if I can light a fire of purpose with them, it's not for them. They got to do it themselves. But if I can facilitate them, lighting some fire of purpose inside of them and their business, breathing life and energy into their business, and see them really go where they want to go, it just that lights me up. So yeah, I'd do the same thing, Tad.
Excellent. And I can also attest, and will also attest to, that the why is what gets me out of bed in the morning. It's not the what. I mean, the what is what I do, but it's the why. So excellent. I mean, really appreciate that, and really appreciate all that you shared today. Going to start to wrap up now, but wanted to check in and see, is there anything that you want to close with, and anything that you'd want to offer the listeners and viewers?
Well, I appreciate that. If anyone wants to check out what we do specifically for 7-figure business owners, either for themselves or another business owner they know, when people start to get stuck, or they feel like, I just can't keep my arms around this thing, and employees is a dirty word, and they give people are headaches, and like all these problems that every single business owner gets to when they get to $1 million. Like that's what we do. So growwithelite.com, we help solve all of those natural business scaling problems that happen post $1 million in revenue. Growwithelite.com. And we have a special program called Elite Ignition. Really easy to get started. But it's all the proven processes and methods that we used to grow that 7-figure business that we talked about earlier, Infusionsoft, to 10 million, then 30 million, then 100 million. Very knowable, very doable. We did it. If we could do it, anybody else can. We just share all of that. So check out Elite Ignition at our website, growwithelite.com.
Okay. And I'll make sure that those links and contact information is in the show notes for the show, and also in the description if we post the video or audio file anyplace. Perfect. So
thank you,
again,
Ted.
Brett, really, really appreciate it. Thank you again. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a very, very safe and productive week, and be the very, very best at whatever it is you're doing. Until next time, this is Tad Stevens with Micro Success Secrets. Bye for now.